want to talk about a police crisis we have here in Pahrump. This is not a crisis created by our sheriff, Joe McGill, but a crisis that's been created by our county commissioners. It's important for you to know that our office of the sheriff of Nye County does not control how much money he gets to run his office. That's the job of the county commissioners, and that is why we're in this crisis. So while the county commissioners spend millions of dollars of our tax money to expand the homeless population in Pahrump by focusing government tax money on efforts to attract and compensate people for being homeless, the deputies that we have to protect us from the crime that comes along with this are being underfunded. How? I'm going to tell you. First, we're being understaffed because of the reckless way that our county commission wastes and spends our money. We currently have a dangerously low number of sheriff's deputies on our street. I've been told we're somewhere around the 65% of where we need to be as far as how many sheriff's deputies we have. This creates longer wait times for police, burdens existing sheriff's deputies with more calls, and it's just dangerous for both you, me, and the sheriff's deputies. The second problem is that the deputies that we have are underpaid. Now, I don't need to look at the statistics of nearby departments to figure this out. As a small business owner and manager for over 25 years, I know that when you have high turnover of staff, like we do here of sheriff's deputies, this is because of working conditions, salaries, or both. Our local sheriff's deputies have put out a letter that talks about the salaries and compares them to other jurisdictions. And they're frustrated because they're losing so many deputies to these other jurisdictions that pay more. And the sad part about all of this is that we can do something to stop this, and we can do it without raising taxes. I'm going to tell you how our county commissioners have failed us and what can be done to fix the problem. But first, I just have to take a few minutes to point out some of the boring facts that I will be using to provide evidence for what I am proposing. The millions of dollars of ARPA federal money that our county commissioners have used to create homeless handouts and plans to build a multi-million-dollar civic center and hand over to local nonprofits, that money could have been spent on our local police. While ARPA is a complex federal program with both a 2022 rule and a 2023 rule, the only recognizable prohibition on this money for police is that it cannot be used to fund pensions. Instead of boring you with the details from these really long and involved documents, let me make it simple by just showing you a few things. First on your screen is a press release from the White House from May of 2022 that shows funding is allowed and encouraged to put more police on our streets. Next, this is a press release from UNC's School of Government showing how ARPA can be spent on government salaries. And here you will find guidance from the United States Treasury that allows for ARPA money to be spent on payroll for public safety employees. And now I want to show you specific instances where other governments have used their ARPA money for police instead of for homeless efforts. In Houston, Texas, the city has used almost $5 million in ARPA money to pay overtime salary to crime scene investigators. St. Paul, Minnesota used $2 million in ARPA money not to build a civic center, like our county commission has done, but to hire new police officers. And here again, St. Paul used nearly $1 million in ARPA money for police overtime. Finally, Los Angeles used $317,000 to pay for police salaries. This information comes from the National League of Cities, which is an organization a lot of jurisdictions will use for guidance on how to govern, and I believe Nye County does too. Unfortunately, I have to show you all these things, and I know they're boring, because some of our county commissioners are likely to tell you that this information I'm telling you is somehow not true if I don't show it to you. And while it's true that Nye County commissioners have spent our local money to purchase new police vehicles that are definitely needed, they could have used ARPA money to purchase those vehicles. This would have allowed the money that they already spent on the vehicles to instead go towards police salaries and hiring more police to make sure that Pahrump is a safe place to be. Let me show you a very quick, short video of another jurisdiction doing just that.
Officials at the Brown County Sheriff's Office say the county sets aside money each year for bulletproof vests. With ARPA money taking care of that this year, it gives them a little more financial freedom for other needs. Brown County Sheriff Justin Oliver unpacks a package that just arrived. 6 new bulletproof vests that he says are sturdier, lighter, and more effective than those currently in use.
It's an expense that we have every year that we have to come up with the money.
But not this year. Oliver says the county was able to get ARPA money to cover the bulk of the $8,000 cost of the vests.
I want to remind you that none of this raises taxes here in Nye County. If the commissioners had used ARPA money on local police instead of homeless efforts, there would be no new taxes in Nye County. I am personally against raising taxes in Nye County, and I've never supported a tax increase in 25 years of politics. I remember 2002 when I met with Grover Norquist, who is the founder of Americans for Tax Reform, who were the people who created the No New Taxes Pledge. And he and I talked about our mutual disappointment of Mitt Romney for refusing to sign that pledge. I knew Grover's father, Warren Norquist, and I love what Grover has done over the years to point out abusive tax policy. So new taxes for me are always off the table. And I'm not trying to say that our county commissioners are raising local taxes. That's not the problem. The problem is that our county commissioners have narrowly defined county goals for ARPA. And because of this, we not only fail to spend any of the millions of dollars in federal money on a safer community here in Pahrump, but commissioners have actually spent millions of federal dollars to make Pahrump more dangerous by attracting homeless people from Las Vegas and California. Please vote in 2024. 3 county commission seats are up. I'm running for the open seat in District 3, and there are 2 others who are running for re-election. I'm not sure if our commissioners somehow personally profit from all of this new construction and these homeless handouts, or if they just don't understand how to run our county. But we need to change direction. Pahrump should be a Western town with Western values, more places to shop, and more sit-down restaurants where we can eat. No apartment buildings, no low-income housing, no tiny home developments, no rows of small detached single-family homes jammed into tiny lots. Instead, our commissioners have proposed all of these things in the last year: apartments, low-income housing, tiny homes, and the solution here is simple. We need new Nye County commissioners. So thank you for listening, and we will talk again soon.